everyone, welcome back. Today I want to show you a little contraption that I call the pulse distinguisher. It is a little piece of redstone logic that can tell the difference between two different pulses, which means it can tell the difference between a 1-tick pulse, for example, and a 2-tick pulse, or 2-tick and a 3-tick, or a 4-tick and a 6-tick, or whatever. So I have a few versions, each has its own pros and cons, but it is something that you can use in your redstone builds if you need to. So let's just get started with the first design here. So this first design is, I think, the simplest that there is. It can tell the difference between a 1-tick pulse and a 2-tick pulse. Basically between a 1-tick pulse and anything that is higher than a 1-tick, so 2-tick, 3-tick, etc. It consists of an input right here and then a torch. And what happens is when a 1-tick pulse is coming in here, the torch will not turn off, which means that this torch will not turn on. You will not get an output. But if there is a 2-tick pulse or 3-tick pulse or anything longer than 1-tick, then this torch will turn off, which will turn on this torch and turn on that lamp. So just to show you, nothing happens and the lamp turns on. So I don't think you need a tutorial for this. Everything that you need you can see right here. So let's move on to the second design. So this is the second design, and this one is a little bit more expensive. It uses a comparator, but it has a big advantage over that one, which is that it doesn't need a 1-tick pulse as one of the inputs to work. It can work with any pulse length, and that is because that one uses a torch that, well, any pulse length can turn off a torch, except for a 1-tick pulse. So this one uses a torch as well, but you can still set it up to work with any other pulse length. So I have, for example, a 2-tick and a 3-tick here. So let's show this in action. 2-tick pulse and nothing happens, 3-tick pulse and you get a very nice output. So to explain how this one works, first of all, this torch turns off, which means that this comparator is now unlocked. That allows it to get power and turn on that lamp, but the power only reaches the comparator after 3 ticks, and when the input is a 2-tick pulse, the torch is only off for 1 tick. So when this repeater powers the comparator, this dust is already on again and the comparator is locked, so you don't get an output. While if this is a 3-tick pulse, the input, then the torch stays off long enough for the signal to reach the comparator and turn on the lamp before the dust locks it again. So yeah, that is how that one works. Pretty easy. So the way you can set it up to work with other pulse lengths is basically this repeater here. When this is a 3-tick, then that one has to be a 3-tick as well. So if that one is a 4-tick, that one has to be a 4-tick as well. So yeah, that means that you can set this to 3-tick. So basically any pulse length that is slower than the amount of delay between the input and the comparator will not give an output, and any delay that is longer, or any pulse length that is longer than this delay, will give an output. So this is the third design. This is a very simple design. It only uses 2 repeaters. So let's show it in action. Bam! 2-tick pulse and you get an output. 3-tick pulse and no output. So the way this one works is similar to that one. You get an input, a 2-tick pulse. This line turns on, repeater turns on. It locks this repeater, and when this line turns off, this one turns on. Basically, this is a 3-tick repeater, so it turns on after 3 ticks. But this line already turns off after 2 ticks, which means that this repeater can turn on and give a pulse to this lamp here. While if the input is a 3-tick pulse, then this repeater stays on long enough to lock this repeater, so it will not give a pulse. Yeah, it works. So this is the last design I have for you today. This is a mechanical design, which means it uses a piston. It is not silent, while all the other designs I have shown you until now are silent. So let's show it in action. 2-tick pulse, no output. 3-tick pulse, output. Great. So how this one works is 2-tick pulse, piston extends, and the block is in this position for half a tick. But this repeater turns on when this piston is already retracted, so it has no way of powering this dust and that lamp. While if the input is a 3-tick pulse, this piston is extended long enough to allow this repeater to power this dust and the lamp, which you can see here. So I hope you liked this video and that you found it useful. If you did, then leave a like. If you want to see more, subscribe. But this is all I have time for today. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.